New record.
New leader, bro.
New record. We got Snotty on deck.
On the grip tank. Who's got the record?
T-Rex. So you squeeze it hard once, and the highest it gets to, it locks it in. So you don't have to like keep holding it.
You don't have to keep holding it.
You just have to get it there.
Yeah. Who's got the record?
Do what?
Who's got the record?
Nick DeFeo.
What's he been up to?
Or her way through, I should say. Carter.
What we got?
Over and out.
125.8.
Carter,
I expected more out of it.
Junior class.
All right.
Gunner
See what Gus has.
checks in number 250 class.
Fucking wait.
So Gunner going to be running in that.
You guys are about the same.
Position, 420 Yamaha.
Good morning.
Going back with the lefty.
It didn't record.
And as I look through the charts here, look through the
left hand's no good. What does that mean I've been doing?
A long way to go, Talladega GNCC Racing. Good to have him.
And how do you race that?
Hit the start button.
The 50th annual Progressive Insurance Grand National Cross Country Racing Series. We want to thank you.
I'm not showing you that one.
We're making some history now.
Give it a go.
Do we get both hands?
Yeah. For some reason, people have been doing better with the left.
Bob.
All right, going for the record?
Yeah, right out. Right out. Damn, I'm weak.
What was it?
117. It feels like it pull, but it doesn't pull.
Pay attention in the pits.
13.8.
Let's see what Harrison's got. RPM. Let's see. What is that? 131.
37, I think.
Oh, 137?
Yeah, 137.2.
There we go.
Strong, apparently.
It's better than a lot. See what we got.
Take them, and if they don't have it there, walk right over and see our man King Katie at the hard part trailer.
78? Oh man, you messed it up. You gotta go again.
Riders Gold MX R puncture, and that's
That would be the lowest so far.
there. So if you haven't already, definitely check out that Riders Gold
99.
MX. Nothing.
Oh come on, dude, you got more than that. Try left-handed.
Dude, my left is terrible.
96. Dang. 99.
Here we go.
Here we go, doing it for WXC.
Oh, 82.
Oh, you got more than that. That's the only one worse than Caleb so far.
Nah, that was worse. It was 74. I have the carpal tunnel.
Try the left hand, hit the start button.
Nah, 75. Terrible.
Who's in the lead?
Right now it's T-Rex.
T-Rex? I don't have him beat. I've had carpal tunnel surgery on both hands. I've got a jacked up thumb right now. 100.6. I told you, so I got the world's worst grip strength.
Try left hand, hit the start button.
105.
Your teammates haven't done so good so far.
They haven't? One hand, two hands? One hand.
Schoolboy Brian Bolt leads the way. Bridgewater in the number 2 spot. Corbin Hill gonna be in that third place position.
124, I think. Is that
Left hand.
left hand?
Top 5, 18C now. Lucas Burns leads the way. Cameron McGee in the left spot. Dylan Rockwell in third.
130.
10 seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in? Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepardson, and today is Tuesday, May the 27th, 2025, years after zero. We are joining you hot and ready for a weekend review / OTP Tuesday. We kind of blended the lines, blurred the lines on both of them. And, so here's where we are now. So Craig is going to be joining me here in just a couple of moments. Want to let you guys know, as always, OTP is brought to you by none other than Yamaha, the presenting sponsor of On the Pipe Podcast, and some exciting news from the Blue Crew that I want to share with you guys before we get started. Next weekend is the third and final opportunity to qualify for the 2025 YZ Super Finale at Motocross Des Nations, going on October 4th this year in October at the Ironman Raceway, where we were just last weekend for GNCC. So it is available to any Yamaha, YZ, TTR, or PW owners. You are invited to race next weekend. And it's June 6th through the 8th. It's going to be at Oak Hill MX in Alvord, Texas. That's about an hour outside of Dallas if you're in the area or can get to the area. You can go to YamahaBlueCrew.com to register. A weekend of racing, all sorts of family-friendly activities. And like I said, it's all Yamaha. It's all the Blue Crew. It shows how much Yamaha is putting into the sport, which is really awesome that we get to work with them as well. So you can bring your camper. You can camp at the track. The Yamaha ambassadors will be there. Ryan Villapoto will be there. You'll get to see him, get to ride with him. Damon Bradshaw, Doug Dubach, all of them will be there hanging out. You can sign up, as we mentioned, YamahaBlueCrew.com. And then the cool part about this is the top youth riders on a YZ125, a YZ85, and a YZ65 can qualify to race the YZ World Super Finale at Motocross Des Nations. So in front of the entire world, you'll be able to compete on that stage, on the same track, on the same day as Motocross Des Nations at Ironman Raceway up there in Crawfordsville, Indiana. So head on over to YamahaBlueCrew.com to register for that. Like I mentioned, it's a Yamaha thing. All YZ, TTRs, and P-Dubs are out there. So without any further delay, we will welcome in old Big Rig Craig. Craig, how's it going this evening?
Enjoying my day. All good. What are you into?
How are you enjoying this day? It's been cold. It's been rainy. All sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, worked all day. Came home, ate some Mexican food. It's been pretty solid.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So a lot to talk about in the off-road world. We're going to get into some of it. We're going to talk about results from across the country, across the nation. Couldn't make up my mind which one of those two I was going to say right there. But we got it dialed in. And, after that, we'll talk about some of the storylines. We got some crazy news, got some crazy things, a brain blast that we had after the conversation about last week involving the GNCC overall points and potentially Grant Davis and potentially the entire XC1 class, more specifically Ben Kelly as it appears to be right now. So we'll get into all the drama, all the storylines here in a minute, but right now we are going to head to the interwebs to dig up some results, courtesy of Dimmer's Precision Grading DPG. Brandon Dimmer is the owner. He is a racer just like us. He's trying to qualify for Loretta's. He's a Blue Crew. Actually, he's got like one of like every bike, it seems like. He's got a lot of different bikes, but he rides. He's a rider. Had a race at his place, the Dimmer's DPG compound. They are a grading company, no job, big or small, commercial, residential, anything in between, demolition, excavation, grading, anything that you might need. Hit them up, dimmersprecisiongrading.com. And as I mentioned, as always, they're going to help us dig up some results. So we're going to start things off over here with the National Enduro Series. First round was in late January, early February. Second round was May 25th. So pretty big gap. Craig, did you end up racing?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I got 9th in Open A. So not the best, but all good.
Could you see?
I was very surprised I could see. Yeah, I was kind of skeptical going into it. We didn't know if we were going to race or not, but
that's a win right there.
It was
yeah, dude, you had the whole damn arrive and fly with old Skinny Ripper.
Yeah.
Why are you looking like that?
Yes.
You and Gus had the private pilot taking you from North Carolina, flying you to the track in the Georgia. How was that experience?
So I didn't actually go down with them. So I went down with the Andersons. So Gus hit up Tyler to go down, and then Drew Calloway ended up buying a truck that was in Alabama. So
Dropped
Skinny
him off along the way.
So Skinny takes off at like 6:15, drops Gus off at Greene County Airport in Greensboro, Georgia, where the race is. Drops Gus off. Timmy picks him up, flies down to Alabama, drops Drew Calloway off to get a pickup, flies back, picks us up at 5 o'clock, and then we're back in Denver before 7.
That's crazy, dude.
It was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's actually pretty cool, man. That sounds like because I thought about that afterwards. I remember seeing the pictures, you guys loading the bags and stuff into the plane. That's a pretty sick experience.
Yeah, and that's what, since I'm in the process of getting my license, and that's kind of what I'm pursuing now as a career. And Skinny's quite a bit a ways ahead of me. We're doing IFR flights on the way home, like 20 minutes. We're just in the clouds while we're going up to 7,000 feet, and it's just all white around you. It was pretty gnarly, but I enjoyed it. Super cool.
Checking the audio here. Someone in the comments wrote audio. From my side of things, it looks like everything's working fine. If there's an issue with the audio, let us know. But yeah, no, that is really cool. I don't know how many people are flying in and out of races, but that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, I guess I should have started. Sorry about being late on the show for our live listeners here on YouTube. We do these shows live on YouTube, so they go out first. After they are done being live on YouTube, that's when I convert them to audio and upload them to everywhere where you get your audio podcasts, so your Spotify's, your Apple Podcasts, that kind of thing. If you want to go back and watch the programs afterwards, if you go to our YouTube channel, On the Pipe Podcast, and click the live tab up at the top, that's how you can see all the shows live and in the video form. But if you're in here in the chat with us, we appreciate you being here. And looks like we got someone saying our audio is good. So that's good. But yeah. Supposed to start at 7. Craig's been here hanging out. Had a little bit of a situation with my dog. Not going to go into details because it's kind of gross. Thought we were going to have to bring her to the emergency vet. I think we got her dialed in. Might end up having to cut the show in the middle if something weird happens.
She's a sweet angel, so the wait was well-deserved.
Yeah.
We love her.
Wasn't good.
Love us some Reba.
So, yeah. T's and P's to Reba and her butt and bowels.
Well, you just fucking destroyed the damn secret on that one, didn't we, bud?
Whoa. We don't need to go into details, but it was some weird issues going on. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Cool weekend at the Enduro, though.
Craig is a superstar. He flies into races, and we're going to talk about that race right now. An unprecedented day, and that is the best way to explain it, for the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Red Bear Racing Factory Kawasaki race team led by Stuart Baylor Jr. I say it's an unprecedented day. I was at the Mid-East race announcing, checking in with the lap time or with the test times all day long. The Red Bear Racing team swept Pro 1, they won Pro 2, and they won the women's elite class. So they showed up with 5 pro riders. They won every pro class and swept the overall podium. I don't think that's ever been done before.
No, it was pretty gnarly. So I was in between tests, and I didn't have my phone on me, so I was asking like the club members, like, "Hey, who's leading? What's going on?" They tell me the top 3. I'm like, "Holy shit, Kawasaki's going to go broke after this one."
Yeah,
the boys are going to make some money, so it was cool.
Well,
yeah, I was pumped.
Talking to some of my sources in the race world, and talking about Kawasaki getting sponsored or becoming a sponsor of the National Enduro Series, and I was told by my source that Kawasaki's like, why would we advertise? We got everything that we need in that parking lot.
Yeah.
And weekends like this really show it. And it is cool. So, like, putting the social media posts and stuff out and, like, watching it throughout the day, like, there is no other way to explain it than unprecedented. And it is pretty cool. And this is exactly what we kind of projected when all the news broke of the team earlier this year. They had the past decade of National Enduro champions all under one tent. And then Nick DeFeo's racing the Enduros this year. Rachel Archer, I think two or three time, maybe one time. Either way, she definitely won it last year.
Yeah.
And she's good at the Enduros. But it's like, man, when they go to an Enduro with a full team, it is going to be tough to beat them. One of the 3 is going to be winning, is kind of what the prediction was going into the season. And not only is 1 out of the 3 of them winning.
Yeah, is it the last 8 champions in a row? Because Stu
9,
won it how
9
many
years. So pretty much a decade.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
So pretty impressive. But not only will one of them be winning, but them 3 will be topping the overall podium, going 1, 2, 3. Josh Toth, takes the overall win and the Pro 1 win, going undefeated on the day. He won every single test, which means
Does he not get that bonus? Remember 2 years, or was it last year that he got the big bonus from Enduro Engineering?
Yeah. So I did message him about that. Be like, we need to get the bounty program back. You would have won a lot of money right there.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. If you won all 6 tests, they had big money on it and gave you a bonus for doing so. And then if you won 5 of them and somebody else won the last one, they got a bounty paycheck for breaking the streak.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up for grabs for both. But kind of a weird predicament for Stu. It's his team, but he's the one going after that number 1 plate. He signed the guy with the number 1 plate. That was Josh Toth. So I talked to him a little bit after the race yesterday, and I was like, so did you hand Josh his walking papers yet? Or are we happy to get the team win? Because obviously hired his biggest competition.
Yeah.
As it shows out here in round number 2. That is going to put both of them tied for the points lead. Excuse me. After Stu winning Sumter, Toth going second, and now at round number 2, obviously Louisiana ended up not happening. And so this is effectively round number 2 4 months later, 3.5, 4 months later. And so now they go 1-2 and 1-2 the opposite way. So now they're tied for the points lead. Grant Baylor, his first national enduro back. And I think he put on a pretty hard charge as well to grab that third and final podium position. Pretty crazy stuff. So that's the Pro 1 class. And looking down now at the Pro 2 class, as we mentioned, Nick DeFeo, who is also a member of that RM Red Bear Racing Kawasaki team, goes out there and grabs the Pro 2 class win. And it was about 48 seconds over the 35 of Angus Reardon, who flew into the race like a rock star.
Private jet, Gus.
Alongside Craig. You guys are really
I flew
balling
out. I flew out.
Oh,
fair.
yeah.
I only got half
Same
the,
deal. You got to fly back with him.
Yeah, I was about hurt. I ain't gonna lie.
Did Tyler race? Oh, no,
No.
I guess he was shuttling people around.
No, but it's funny because last year, so Gus got a pretty sick trophy, and Tyler was, as soon as we showed up to the airport, he was pissed because he got second at Cherokee in Pro 2 last year.
Oh, really?
Palmer did. And he's like, what kind of shit is this? He said, I didn't get nothing like that. It was a sick-ass trophy. So he's fired up.
The Indian, I think it was.
Big old Indian, yeah.
A Native American. I don't know what we're allowed to. Those are my people. I can call them whatever I want.
I don't care. We can call him.
I'm
my grandma was full-blood Cherokee.
I'm Cherokee Indian.
Or Crow or something. I don't know. Dad said, I got something in me. I don't know.
My grandma wasn't full Cherokee, but she had enough Cherokee in her to live on a reservation.
Half Cherokee and Choctaw?
Quite a bit.
That's crazy. Cause
her baby was a Chippewa. She was one of a kind.
Love her.
That's part of the song, too. In the number 2 spot, we talked about Gus Reardon. Chase Landers would round out the Pro 2 podium. Jack Walker just off the podium in 4th. And Will Sievenpiper would round out your top 5 fastest riders in the Pro 2 class. And then down in the women's elite class, it was Rachel Archer taking yet another win. Seems to be an unstoppable force for the most part this year. Having a really good season, coming off of a couple championships last year. Rachel Goodish, who's always strong, who's always determined, who's always going to ride a dirt bike well, and is always going to do something crazy like drive overnight and race a hard enduro the next day, which is exactly what she did. I think we should be seeing Rachel Goodish's name here in just a moment as well from a hard enduro race on Monday. So she goes out and gets second place, and then Shelby Turner, the Canadian, gets the number 3 spot in the women's elite class. Brooke Cosner was back out at the races, joined in with the little women's elite racing action. And I forgot to mention, 4th place, Ricky Russell. 5th place, Ben Kelly. Ryder Lafferty, expected to see him at Mid-East. Turns out he went to the National Enduro. Ended up in that 6th spot in class. And then Evan Smith and Jack Mentha rounding it out. But yeah, what was the overall takeaway from Cherokee? I know at Mid-East it rained quite a bit. Heard it rain down at the Cherokee quite a bit. What were the conditions like? Because at Mid-East, it started out super slick. And then by the end of the day, everyone was saying it was their favorite track of the year, which was pretty cool. But only a couple hours difference, I think, between where we were at in South Carolina and the Cherokee Enduro in Georgia. Washington, Georgia?
Greensboro,
Washington.
GNCC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It definitely rained overnight, so they had postponed the key time to 10 a.m. from 9. I was row 75, so I did not. I was telling Eric, just like last week, I was freaking out because I had an issue trying to. I was there on time. It wasn't for lack of trying to sign up on time and get a better row. Little one-lined. There's some sinkholes.
We got to live that with you.
Yeah, you did. I didn't have the best row, but as far as like the track itself, it's pretty solid. I mean, I think the guys had to cut some of the mileage down just in case there might have been some water holes or some of the hills that were kind of nasty. They didn't want to run us on since it rained so much. It was good. I mean, honestly, test 6, I didn't have anyone in the front 2 or 3 rows ahead of me because there was A only.
They're all C class or B class or whatever.
So there's quite a bit of traffic, but I rode pretty good in that last test. I got a little off track there for a minute, but it turned out really good. Like if it could have had a day of drying before we raced it, it'd have been sick, but all good. There was a lot kind of one line where I was at, but I enjoyed it.
So what pro ended up being on your row, and what pro was on the row behind you all day?
Absolutely nobody. I was on 75.
Oh, I thought you said you were on 31 or something, 32, or that's what you were.
I got 30.
I thought when you signed.
No. I got 32. That I signed up the other day. That was for Ohio. See.
Oh,
As of Saturday, we had signed up for 5 national enduros and raced 1.
Yeah.
So now we've signed up for 5 and raced 2. So I had row 75 this weekend. Next weekend in Missouri, I have 21, and then I have 32 in Ohio. So
Gotcha.
32, that'll be well, shit. I guess I'm just one ahead of Stu. I don't think there's anybody. Probably a Pro 2 guy.
Well, I think they kind of change them around. I think the
Those
points
guys
leader
don't.
starts on the first row, and then I think they fill in after that, I thought.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Either way.
I could be wrong.
I know you did just talk about what row you're on. I remember you getting 30-something when you signed up last week, but I forgot that was for a race a year and a half from now.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I know you just said it a second ago, but I'm monitoring a cell phone, monitoring 2 computers, the feed, the audio, so my bad.
No, so there's another Open A guy named Sam on my row on a 125, and he dogged my ass first test, and then he got tired, and I ended up outrunning him the rest of the time, but it wasn't because I was faster. He just got tired of shit.
Dang.
But no, it was good.
Skinny Craig putting in the
Yeah.
late charge.
Yeah, it was crazy not getting tired for once. I need to lose a little bit more, and then I'll be dangerous.
Heck yeah.
So there wasn't anybody. I don't think there was an Open A guy 2 ahead of me, Josh Hensley. Other than that, there wasn't really anybody. That's what kind of sucks, and I had guys yelling at me because I come behind them and just rev and yell, go right, go left. And they'd throw their hands up and say, quit being a big effing baby. And I was like, shut up. Like, what do you mean? Like, we're in an enduro. Like, kind of crazy situation that people get mad at. And I didn't think I was
made up a minute on them.
Well, I didn't think I was being, inconsiderate. I mean, I think if it was anyone, like, fast and taking it more serious than I am, they'd just freaking truck them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I show up, and they just kind of lollygag around, and I'd rev. I'm faster than most 40C guys. You know what I'm saying? So I'd give it a couple revs and say, hey, get the fuck out of the way. Kind of, fair
nice
enough. I was pretty nice about it. I'd usually say thank you, maybe pat them on the ass when I passed them. But some guys get pretty butthurt and just mad, and they think the revving's personal, I guess. I'm just trying to let them know, So hopefully I don't get back in the 70s anymore this year. Hopefully I'm, strategy-wise, I stay in the 20s to be like where I'd like to be.
The crazy part is that you've already made up a minute on them. And then also there's multiple tests. So they got to be knowing as they go throughout the day, like, hey, here's where I'm going. Because I've raced 1 national enduro, and then I've helped set up a couple. So, like, sweep rod and trail rod and setting up, that kind of stuff. But at Sumter, it was like, I knew when I was going to pass guys, and I also knew, like, hey, I'm 5 minutes in. I know this guy's coming up behind me again. Because it kind of, like, your speed kind of stays the same throughout the day. So if someone's passing you 5 minutes into test 1, it's a good bet that around 5 minutes into test 2, they're going to be there again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't –
Same thing with me.
In a national enduro, I figured all them dudes, especially the older dudes, are more apt to let you by. But I guess
they are, and I understand they're racing too. Like, they spend their same amount of money I do. They might be winning whatever class they're in, and they're probably mad at me for, coming by, and they probably think I'm being a jerk. But it's the same thing whenever I was at Sumter and I was on 20-something, whatever I was on, and Jack Walker would catch me, and so would Grant Davis.
Yeah.
But I knew when I heard him, and you could hear him rev from, however far away, and I'd take a slow line, they'd get around, and I'd jump in behind and try to trail for as long as I could. Then they'd slip away, and I'd be done.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It goes hand in hand. Same thing is I need to be better about passing, but at the same time, I'm not trying to wreck myself. Everyone goes through it. It ain't no big deal. Just sometimes some people take it personal whenever you get a rev and tell them to fuck off. Fair. Super fair sometimes.
If you're a lapper out there, it's going to save you more. I know you're racing. Everyone's racing for the same thing. I've lapped a lot of people. I've been lapped by a lot of people. Everyone's racing for the same thing, but you actually waste more time by holding somebody up and yelling, arguing, and getting mad than just find a spot, get over, let them by, follow in, and try to stay attached.
Yeah.
The fraction of a second that you lose by letting someone by, I think you can gain it back up by watching what they're doing and trying to latch onto them for a couple turns.
And maybe they didn't see the same spots I've seen where they could have pulled over real quick. I mean, I get whenever you get into like a kudzu section or somewhere like bar wide, you can't do a whole lot, but some of them just wanted to turn around and be like, haha, watch this. So I just started running. I mean, just like anybody else, you start kind of being a little aggressive, but it was all good. Row 75 is not ideal for, anybody trying, but it's all good.
But then track's beating in. You can see where you're going. That one fellow popped into the comments a few weeks ago looking for tech tips. Here's a tech tip. Here's a little tip for getting lapped. One, don't take the fast line. You know what I mean? If you're coming up on a corner, it's a right-hander, there's an inside and an outside, don't take the inside. Take the outside, they'll blitz through the inside and be past you before you even know what's going on. Two, and my least favorite thing is when you yell somebody or you yell aside or you're coming up on one side and they look back at you like this over their shoulder, but as they look back, they go across the entire trail and then pinch you both into a tree. Don't do that either. Just hold your line, ride your pace. They already caught you.
Whenever
so you
I
ride
think
your
of
pace,
this,
they'll find a way around
I think you and Ron Awad, the video of you turning around bowing up at him.
That was actually
Get the
Keith.
hell out of the way. I thought that was Ron.
It was Ron talking over it, but the GoPro footage was from Keith. Because basically, I went into it. That's how I met them.
It's the funniest video.
Yeah.
You immediately go straight into like street fight. You bow up right at him, and I'm like, oh, look, check him out.
That video. So I got home from that Mid-East race, and I took a nap. Like, as soon as I got home, I took a nap. I woke up to 1 million Facebook notifications, and that video had been posted with Ron voicing over it. And then just everyone was talking about it. Like, everyone's tagging me, and they're like, oh, that's Tyler Shepardson. Because I didn't know them at the time.
Yeah.
And now they're good buddies of mine. But, no, I was going into the turn, and the guy in front of me fell, so I had to kind of stop. So I didn't hit him. And then when I did that, Keith slammed into my swing arm and knocked me over. So, like, if he would just waited a second, we both could have went around. But he, like, T-boned me, and I went over. So I turned around, and I saw him right there, and I went to grab him. I don't know. It was funny. Spur of the moment, heat of the moment. But then Ron's voiceover over it was hilarious.
Also, tech tip, if you're a bigger fellow like me, KY jelly on the hips. I think I mentioned this once before. Slide right through the trees. You have to really center it to stop yourself, but if you do a little bit of KY on the hips, just like that, brother.
Give it a little.
Yeah, that's
right through there.
Yeah, that was Secrets by the Baylor Brothers, actually. Both of them.
Squeezing on in.
Squeezing on in, brother.
No, that's. I need to race another national enduro, but then same thing. Like, dude, I tried to race another one and like ended up losing my money because I registered for it in like spring of 2022, and the race wasn't until summer of 2025, and hey, things change, plans change, couldn't race.
It is summer of 2025, brother. It's time.
I know.
It's time to cash in. You should do Little Raccoon Classic. Help
That's
out
Ohio.
Yep. You got to support the ADR boys, Appalachian Dirt Riders.
The problem,
Dana X-Line till the day I die,
is scheduling conflicts.
Well, you have no schedule this weekend. It is it June 26th or 20th? It's the weekend before or after Snowshoe.
Little Raccoon. That is a Mid-East race that is in a brand new location.
Possible.
That is B, I'm also supposed to be at the X Games.
Dude, why go to the X Games or Mid-East whenever you could be in Wellston, Ohio?
Well, because Mid-East I leave with an envelope full of cash.
Yeah. You ever heard of a Polio Bandito from Toro Loco?
No. You're speaking Spanish to me right now.
I was on a ride along with my buddy Chase. He used to be a cop in Wellston, and the Viva Jalisco's is the Mexican restaurant in Wellston, Ohio, where the Little Raccoon Classic is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going to ride along with him. And
Is that at Jolly's?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not now. It's not now. It starts off in Wellston, Jackson County Fairgrounds in Wellston. So
we had a full gas at Jolly's.
Yes. Viva Jalisco's is the Mexican restaurant, and Juan, Formula Juan, as the locals call him, had this Mexican guy, obviously, come work for him. And that night, apparently, the guy turned on him and tried to kill him with a steak knife.
Hell yeah.
My buddy arrested him in the street, so it's cool.
Dang.
So, a little Wellston, Ohio drama for you. Typical night.
Is the steak knife still there? Like if I ordered a carne asada,
Dude,
could
I
get
went
that
back to
steak
that
knife?
I went back to that Mexican restaurant like a couple months later. That dude was there.
Hell yeah.
So they must have kissed and made up. I don't know.
Must have been during the Biden administration.
It was, yeah.
Bring them in, let them back out. But yeah, so I was offered a booth on the media row, podcast row, radio row, whatever you want to call it at the X Games, which I'm torn because 10-year-old little Tyler would be above the moon, especially with where I was supposed to be at today.
Yeah.
There was originally supposed to be a show on location from somewhere very special.
Yeah. What do I got to do to get to go to the X Games?
We got rained out. But then the X Games would be another part of that. Like you told 10-year-old Tyler that I had plans to go where I was supposed to be this week and then plans to go to the X Games. He would be above the moon. But here's the thing. OTP is for the off-road riders.
Yeah.
We don't cover motocross. We don't cover supercross. It's off-road. We're pure off-road. So then when I get to the X Games, like, yeah, I grew up skateboarding my whole life, and I would probably be nerding out all over the skateboarders. But, like, watching freestyle, and I'd be able to have access to all them people. But it's like, I guess people listening right now, would that be something that people would be interested in? Because it's freestyle moto. That's the closest we can get to moto.
Yeah.
And then skateboarding, BMX, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I don't know if I have the demographic for it, but at the same time, I think all that stuff is cool. So maybe everyone else thinks it's cool. But I got to choose. I will say it's probably between X Games and Mideast. Probably not the Little Raccoon.
All right, so what about this? What if you get on a row for Cross Fork, Pennsylvania National Enduro, on the Wednesday of that week? Well, you can go to the ISD training camp early that week. You get done with that.
What week is this?
July 25th to the 27th.
I got nothing in July.
See? So what we do is we go to the ISD training camp. We go to AMA Vintage Motorcycle Days. We leave AMA
That's
Vintage
Loretta's.
Days. We don't care. And this is an off-road podcast. Why do we care about Loretta's?
For those that don't know, here's my schedule I'm checking. It's color-coded. Got all the dates. You can find this on thepipepodcast.com with all the races. You can add your races. I have to organize my life with this thing.
So
but anyway.
So ISD training camp, Vintage Days, PA National Enduro.
I have been owing you a trip to Vintage Days for
Years.
6 or 9 years.
It's been a minute. And I finally have bikes that run. I haven't rode them yet, but I started them. They seem to run fine.
That Thursday, I do have to film something, but that's the only thing I have going on. All my weekends are free.
I race Friday.
Well, Thursday, the 26th, I think. July 26th. 24th?
24th.
Whatever that weekend is, which I think is the week before Vintage Days, right?
No. Vintage Days is the 25th to
So
the 27th.
Vintage Days-
I'll get to Vintage Days. Battery's exhausted. Shout out.
Vintage Days leads into the National Enduro?
Yes. So I can't race Sunday. I can't race my CR500 because I have to leave Saturday midday to go to the PA National Enduro.
Gotcha.
That's why I had questions about how Stu was talking about doing the special test or the, what do you call it, the damn prologue on Saturday at the National Enduro.
Somebody said battery's tired AF. I guess it did pop up on there and say battery exhausted.
But
sorry, I was still
go
listening. But yeah. Sorry, we'll cut to results. Give this camera a little bit of time to come back on. Yeah, we need to figure out summer plans. Maybe we can make something happen. But yeah, so checking in, going over some more results here. It is the Memorial Day Hare Scramble AMA West Series going on. I forget where it was at. Somewhere on the West Coast. But anyway, taking the overall win, it was Mateo Oliveira taking the win. Where's Dante? What wasn't Dante there?
Was he racing Paula or no?
I don't think. I don't think I've
know.
ever seen him. Someone that did race Paula is reigning, defending Works 250 champion and NGPC 250 champion Mason Simmons. Did you see Steve Mathis tweet who is Mason Simmons?
No,
Yeah.
I don't have the tweeters.
Because he maxed out on Pulp MX Fantasy. And I
Nuh-uh.
almost picked him, and then I didn't get into
Dude.
to change it in time, so I didn't get to pick him.
We were all having like friendly conversation, bets on our buddy of who's gonna do like how he was gonna do.
Yeah.
And I was, dude, he's definitely top 20 for
Dude.
sure. And like a couple of our buddies were like he's super fast. We don't know. I was like, dude, he's in freaking killer shape right now. He's raced every single weekend. Like he's not gonna get tired 230s.
And after
what'd he do?
watching the
Start
videos of
passing
him,
people at the last 2 laps.
the videos of him at Glen Helen,
Yeah.
like getting absolutely loose at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, all right, dude, he's probably gonna do pretty good.
Yeah.
Scored points.
Yeah, he's a unit. Fucking tank, dude.
Maxed out on Pulp MX fantasy points and scored some pro points. I think he finished 17th overall.
Yeah.
What was he, 18, 16 for 17?
Yeah, and he goes. Well, I'm not sure the moto scores, but yeah, I believe 17th overall, and now I think he's racing Hangtown.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go, Mason.
I saw a story.
Sick.
Say, like, you bet
Yeah.
your ass we're going to be there or something. But, dude, how sick is that for him to end his GNCC career out here on the podium at Ironman
Yeah,
and not get any support? So he decides to go out west
yeah,
and races West Coast, wins everything he goes to.
yeah.
Like,
Sick.
won both championships, and now steps up. And now
And
he's,
he won with. He had to miss some races too because he had broken his foot or his ankle.
yeah. And then
That's
came
sick.
back still winning.
Yeah, gnarly.
And then this year has been pretty much dominating.
Yeah,
And I think he's leading the points everywhere again. And then goes out and races the first round pro motocross
yeah,
and scores points.
yeah. Little kangaroo's fired up, dude. I love
How sick is that? It really, really helps our best rounded rider situation being an off road rider.
it. Fair enough.
I didn't see any of them guys come out top 20 at
Fair enough.
GNCC.
I'm not jumping down in that rabbit hole again today.
But yeah, shout out Mason Simmons, dude. That's awesome. Congrats, Meso. In the number 2 spot was Beta's Zane Roberts. And then Dustin Davis rounds out the top 3 riders overall and wins the Pro 250 class. So shout out Dustin Davis, taking a little note from GNCC and getting on the overall podium from the second row. Where am I at?
Who was their top Yamaha?
There we go. Top Yamaha.
Josh.
So I don't
think
Yamaha has a factory supported team out there,
they
but
don't. It used to be Chaparral, I think. No, that was Cowie. Chaparral Cowie.
old Josh Ochoa
Okoa.
getting it done.
Shout out Open A.
Express Carriers carrying the Blue Crew to success. You know what I mean?
Come on back.
Out of the Open A class. Where was he at in Open A?
Look like second. Yeah, no, third Open A.
Podium. When he
Shout
gets
out.
some more, Yamahas out west. But yeah, second place in the Pro 2 class, Colton Ake, and rounding out the Pro 2 podium was Samuel Pretscherer. And then where's our third pro guy?
Third pro guy,
All the way down
Ethan.
here, Ethan Pasick.
Yeah, he ain't gonna appreciate that.
That's where I watch motocross on.
Your peacock. Yeah, he ain't gonna like that. Sorry, bud.
Shout out Ethan. Good on you, brother.
Ethan P.
Let's see. We got some women's riders.
Ethan P. Nasty.
Pro women. Let's see. It was Ava Silvestri getting it done. Rachel Stout in the number 2 spot, and Ty Woolslayer slaying the Wool third place on a Yamaha. See, look, she's Yamaha backed in the pro class.
Dude, Maddie Weber's sponsored by Mad Fast Racing. That's
Shout out, dude. Mad fast, dead last.
well. Son of a bitch.
I'm sure she's very nice. Good job, Maddie. Hope you had fun. Now I feel bad. All right, we'll skip over middies for a second because we got some more stuff to talk about that. It's easy. The races that we're at, like National Enduro, like middies, we can kind of talk about it. Otherwise, we're just reading through results. So we'll get through the results after we get done digging them up with DPG out here. Tough Like Roar. Very, very, I would say prestigious. One of the prestigious, like longest running, if I'm not mistaken, hard enduros. Ben Kelly, former champion, Tough Like Roar. I think Toth won it too, didn't he?
Both won it.
Did Ashburn win one?
I
think
it sounds right, but
at
I don't
some
know.
point. But now it is part of the U.S. Hard Enduro Series, and Tristan Hart with that big old number 1 plate. Obviously, got the win at the last round, comes out swinging, gets the win again. Cody Webb on a Yamaha dog continues to make history on that thing. Got the first Yamaha podium in hard enduro, got the first Yamaha win in hard enduro, and he's back on the podium again on the Yamaha in hard enduro. No button, no problem for the 6'14" Cody Webb. Getting it done, and then shout out good buddy of the show, Will Reardon. Another Aussie out there on the Shirtaco gets another podium on the season. Will's been riding good lately.
Yeah, he has.
And then we'll check in with our resident Hawaiian down there in 11th place, Kamakana Waiwai Aiole Kahalapuna in the number 11 spot just outside the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Ryder
Rio
Blonde,
Ryder.
4th. Coelho Huddy, 5th. Quinn Wenzel, rider guest James Flynn. Thorne Devlin was out there,
Dude, he's making it happen, ain't he?
20th. I wonder why he's not been racing GNCC. He's just over it, doesn't like it.
Oh, they fucking suck, that's why. Zach Hugel on the beta? You know, someone told me the other day that they thought I'd ride a Raju. I said, why? And they said, Raju Fro. I said, that's kind of messed up, huh?
That's rude.
Yeah, that's a little political.
Raju Fro.
The Raju Fro.
Ooh, it's funnier because it's Riehu.
Yeah.
Have some class, have some culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably why old buddy ran out of that Mexican restaurant with a steak knife.
Fuck him, dude.
People saying Reju
Yeah.
instead of Riehu.
Yeah, over the border he goes. Hey, shout out to Raju Fro.
What?
Women. This is the first day, isn't it? Never mind.
Oh, yeah. What were you talking about?
Goodish. On the Raju Fro.
I forgot about that. Oh, she didn't race Sunday.
Yeah,
She
that's
raced,
what I meant. That's what I
National
was saying.
Enduro.
Wrong day.
But was there women's? Oh, there was. My bad, ladies. Katie, hell yeah. Oh, Hall Leah. Before I zoomed in, that looked like hell yeah. Katie Hall Leah grabs the win. Mary Antoine grabs the number 2 spot, and Georgia Eversole in the 3rd place spot for our women's pro class after combined scoring. And then moving into Memorial Day Monday, the locked and loaded Keystone.
Monday.
Tristan Hart, what a weekend. Goes back-to-back, takes the win. Cody Webb, what a weekend. Goes back-to-back in the number 2 spot. Will Reardon, wouldn't you know it, what a weekend.
Yep.
Back-to-back
3
with
for Dale
the podium.
on the Coca-Cola 600 day.
Coella Huddy, 4th again. Ryder LeBlanc, 5th again. Top 5, all the same, except for Kamakana Waiole Kehalapuna.
No,
Moves up into the number 7 spot
I
after
think,
an 11th place on Sunday.
I think Ryder and Cuello swapped. Ryder got 4th on Sunday.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah, I pay attention.
I didn't know you could see. How is life with vision?
It's getting better, and it's very consistent, and I just called my instructor and said it's time to start flying. Let's do it. So next week, I'm back in it. In it, brother.
You're right.
You see how good I am?
You were right. I've never known you being able to see like that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Where's
Oh,
Quinn on
look,
the
Danny
Raju Pro?
Lewis, dude. Danny Lewis in the 14th spot. He didn't race on Sunday, did he? Did we miss Danny Lewis? Oh, yeah, we did. 13th.
Big
Beta
D
rider.
nasty.
Super cool dude. He's from PA. I think he had Lyme disease, had a bout with that the last couple of years, so wasn't able to ride. Now getting back into it, shout out.
Hey, how about my boy? What the hell? On the electric bike. What's his name? I was just talking to him about how sick his van is.
Huh.
Max Bupre. Was he there? Maybe not. I might have been lying.
Mad Max Bupre.
Yeah, he did post the other day. He was on his Suron and he broke a frame. He was trying to find somebody with a frame, so he sent me a picture of his. Dude, look how
right here.
sick. Did
nope,
he?
Noah Palmer.
Dude, look how sick this thing is. It's a damn, just a low top, black wheel, deleted, tuned, blows all kind of black smoke.
Seen one, seen them all.
You're wild, dude.
Checking back with Monday, the Memorial Day race, our pro women's class. It was Katie Hall Leah taking the win again. Rachel Goodish, who we talked about earlier, in the number 2 spot. That is after a full day of racing in a pro women's podium in Georgia the day before. And then Marianne Antoine.
Why does her time look like that? Oh, no, did she win? Oh, she
won the first check.
Oh, she didn't make the check 4.
Oh. Damn, Katie made the moves on her in check 3.
Katie, hell yeah, got Rachel Gudish on the Rejufro.
Over and out. So
Anyway.
that is your hard enduro, and then checking in with our final race series of the weekend. It was the Road Runner Mid-East Hare Scramble down in Lawrence, South Carolina, where I am the announcer, so I get a front seat to the action, and what a cool weekend of racing it was. Brody Johnson. So first of all, Caleb Russell shows up, and he's got his bike in the back. And Crew Russell has raced some Mid-East races. Actually, Crew Russell got his first overall win earlier this season at a Mid-East race in Morganton, the Hillbilly Smash. And then in the youth race, rode faster than I think I've ever seen a 65 rod. Fouled a plug on the start line. I think we talked about it on here. Went back, changed it, started the race 2.5 minutes late, and was flying, dude. He was running like top 20 lap times on a 65 during the youth race, catching back up. Actually started 2.5 minutes late, ran down the leader, passed for the lead, and ended up getting passed back. But he still ran him down, caught him. So, yeah, it's not abnormal to see a Russell racing at the Mid-East Hare Scramble, but I believe the last time Caleb Russell raced a Mid-East Hare Scramble was 2022 at the Hickory Airport.
Oh, yeah.
When we had, I think it was $4,000 to win.
Yeah.
And Caleb showed up, borrowed Scott Harwell's bike that he had never rode before, never touched before, no suspension, no nothing, and led the majority of it, and then Stu ended up passing him and taking the win. I think that was the last time we saw Caleb Russell race a race. Obviously, this year, Caleb Russell, not the Caleb Russell that we've seen in the past, but I think he is battling some injuries. He actually said on the podium this past weekend that he's going to undergo knee surgery in a couple weeks. So I hope that's not like news out there. He said it into a microphone in front of people to me. So like, I feel like that gives me fair game to say it on here. So you've probably seen the videos of Caleb getting his knee drained, both on his vlog and on his Instagram. I think that thing has given him more issues than what he anticipated this year. But stacked front row, dude. Brody Johnson, Caleb Russell, Gavin Simon, Jonathan Johnson, Mike DeLosa, Alex Luger, Collier Martinez, Ethan Harwell. That's a pretty stacked front row. They came around the first lap. Brody Johnson was in the lead. I think it was actually might have been Jonathan in second, Gavin in third, Caleb in fourth. So Caleb got almost a dead last start. Of the people that took off, he went into the woods last. Alex Luger was actually last. His bike didn't start. But worked his way up through the pack. He was in fourth place coming around. And then on the third lap, he had moved into that number 2 spot. And then let me see actually here if we can pull up some lap times.
Did Ethan Harwell DNF?
Something
must have happened because he got lapped and he was 7 minutes down. He got a 5 laps in, so I assume something happened.
I don't know. There's his lap times. Something happened on that. Oh, there was a video of him going down on the hill climb. I don't know if that took him out of the race or not. Caleb Russell. Oh, it was the second lap. So he came around first lap and second. Came around the next lap. They'd all switched up. So Gavin was in the number 2 spot, and Johnny was still in third. So Johnny kind of played in the middle. Somehow Caleb went behind him, and Gavin went in front of him. And then Caleb got back up into the number 2 spot. But the gap was 125 on lap 3, 130 on lap 4, 219 on lap 5. And then Caleb got some time back and finished 212 on Brody there. He did say that he hit a tree, and it bent the foot peg up into the bolt of the foot peg mount. And took some time kicking that thing back out, and then his front end got all cattywampus, so he had to spend some time getting the front end back out and about. But it was super cool, man, because we talk about Brody Johnson and Jonathan Johnson, like they are tough to beat at Mid-East races.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have came out and gotten beat by one of the Johnson brothers and then immediately goes to, oh, they know the tracks, they've been racing them. This was a brand new track that nobody had seen before. And first of all, I think Caleb goes back and forth on how he feels about me, but I have never wavered. I've been a pretty big KR fan this entire time to the point where I get made fun of for it. So really cool to see him out there racing in Mid-East race and doing it to get the practice, to get the seat time, and going out there and battling with those guys. And ran into some issues and was able to kind of plug his way back and make a charge there at the end. But I just think it's cool as hell to see Caleb coming out and racing in the middle of this whole thing at a local. And it sounds like they had a pretty good time too.
Yeah, for sure. I think it goes back to like whenever Trevor Bollinger was riding all of them, and everyone liked to see Trevor Bollinger. So, and since Trevor's not racing them right now, and Brody and John are kind of the two main guys, and Mike DeLosa and Ryder Lafferty, I'd say the crowd was pretty fired up to see KR out there as well.
Yeah. No, dude, after the race, like he's taking pictures with everybody and signing stuff, and he gave away his award, and I don't know, it just seems like a big deal when someone like that like comes out and race.
Yeah.
So I thought it was super cool, and spent some time last night. Was up till 4 a.m, couldn't sleep. Watched his vlog, and dude, those vlogs. I think when they go back and look at those things in like 10 years, man, it's gonna be super special to them. Just seeing the kids grow up and seeing Crew race, and his daughter Collins raced, and then in the Strider and Stasic bike race, their youngest kid raced as well. But Collins, that girl, is really good on dirt bike. She messed it. She lapped everybody in the Stasic bike race, and then raced the 50 race and did really good. But dude, she's tough.
Yeah, that's cool.
She's fast, but it's cool to see. I don't know how the general fan reacts to like the vlogs and seeing that, but like just for them to have that as a family, like, hey, Caleb retired for 4 years, came back, he's racing, and to have that video footage of their race weekends and what it was like, man, I think it's gonna be special to look back on. Same thing with Stu and what he's doing with his vlogs and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty cool
for sure.
Cool weekend to see him out there. I was a little bit worried about doing the podium. I didn't know if he was gonna be upset. But no, he was super cool. He gave a lot of credit to Brody and how Brody rode, and just all around really cool weekend to see him out there. Gavin Simon also rode his ass off at Powerline Park. We saw him in the top 5 the majority of the race before his bike blew up.
Yeah, top 5 overall.
Awesome.
From 250A.
Yeah.
Just to make that point.
And then for him to come out and beat Jonathan Johnson, like I said, dude, it's a feat to come out and beat either of the Johnson brothers, let alone both of them, one of them, whatever. So for those guys to bump Jonathan off of the podium and for Gavin to get that third place spot, man, really a testament to how good he's riding right now too.
Yeah, pretty rowdy.
But, yeah.
What else did we have this weekend?
I believe that was it. Was there – I should have looked if there was a J-Day.
Who rode
Ethan, if you're
women this
listening,
weekend?
I'm really sorry. Yeah.
I didn't know if how Danielle McDonald did. We talked about that last couple of rounds because she'd been riding the AM and she'd been riding pretty well.
She didn't race this one.
Okay. I was talking over the weekend. Like, obviously, we were at the National Enduro, but I would like to go back to racing some of these as well.
Megan GNCC, she was on a Cowley. She was riding pretty good. 40th overall. Kelsey Little, I think, DNF'd. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe she finished. No.
Morgan Wright DNF'd. Says right there.
Morgan Wright DNF'd. I don't know. She might have DNS'd. But, yeah. That's gonna do it. Let's bring in a new segment. I try not to load up all the sponsors all at one time. That's why we started the old DPG segment. Appreciate it. Let's do this new one. I don't have a trendy name for it yet, but now is the time. We're gonna go back and get caught up with the YouTube comments and what everyone is saying on here live while we're chatting about these things. This is gonna be sponsored by Zach Tussle with Raymond James Financial as we backtrack and look at the YouTube comments. We're going to look towards our future with Zach Tussle and his financial planning. He is a racer and a financial advisor that helps his clients win when it comes to retirement and financial planning. Actually reached out, funny comments?
No, I was just staring. Like, I just put my face straight in that camera. That's my bad, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You see my side profile and possibly my mole.
I reached out to Zach. As you know, Zach is a racer. Did he race Georgia this weekend?
I don't believe so. I didn't see him there.
Oh, I got you. So, Zach, good buddy of the program. He's also a good A rider as well. Races a lot of the Enduros. I reached out to him and I said, hey, man, can you run me real-life numbers of when you started advertising on the program, and if you were to invest $500 a month since you've been investing in OTP, what would that look like for our listeners at home? So he did that for me, and he sent it over. So if you took $500 a month since Zach Tussle started advertising on OTP, which was April 2022, you would have saved $19,000. Now, of that $19,000 invested directly into the S&P 500, which is a very safe investment, what a lot of people do, and your $19,000 of cash would be worth $25,000 right now. Obviously, the more money you put in, the bigger those numbers grow. For instance, if you put in $1,000 a month, this is basically $6,000 of extra earnings on your money. So there's two ways to look at it. One, that is $6,000 of profit over what you've invested just in that time frame. So if you're putting $1,000 in, you would have made $12,000 between now and then. And you can keep doing that math however you want. But one of the biggest things that Tussle pointed out is right now, if you're not putting money away each month to save, then you would have $0.
Yep.
So not only is this a 6% growth, or it's a 16% growth for $6,000 over your invested $19,000, but for one, it's pretty significant from $19,000 to $25,000. But also from $0 saved to $19,000 saved, that is a big jump as well. So $500 a month, that's a little over $100 a week. That is literally a meal a day for a week.
Yeah, that's the program I'm on.
What?
My Roth IRA or the Tussle investments.
Yeah. See?
I'm a guy. I'm about it.
We got a client right here. 2 clients, 1 room. For Zach Tussle, Raymond James Financial.
Peace up, Baytown down, bud. 2 of us.
I like to be a little bit. I like to be a little bit more aggressive. I don't think Zach likes when I like to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
But talked to him today about a big miss that I had, and it wasn't him. He gave me the right advice. But Zach Tussle, Raymond James Financial, TussleInvestments.com, or find him on the socials. Let him know you listen to OTP, and he will get you up to speed. Let you know how you can save that money and let it work for you, let it grow. Your money sitting in a bank account is making no money. Your money invested is making $6,000 over the time frame that he has been advertising with us, just investing $500 a month. It's just something to think about. And that, you know what I mean? If you gave him $100,000 in that same amount of time frame, 16% of $100,000, that's $16,000 that you would have made. So it all grows.
Homies.
Anyway, hit him up. All right. Bama Boy says T-Shap. What's up, dog? The Mythic. Have no idea who it is, but he's asking for room for one more. We do have one more chair. You should get J-Law on here. Talk to him a little bit about it. There's a lot of people that have been supposed to be on the show that go ghost. Including
Scared.
maybe one of my Blue Crew teammates. I don't know. Hope Reba's all good, says Eric Barlow. Appreciate you, dude. Eric's cycle works. Means a lot. I hope Reba is good too, as well. I haven't had my fiance barging in the door or calling me yet, so hopefully everything's all good with my dog. Looking muddy this weekend for the Mason Dixon. That is absolutely right. Looks like rain all weekend long, including Friday and Saturday. So we had one race without mud, and looks like we're right back into it.
Yeah. That place is always a polar opposite. It's either super dry. People are blowing blokes up.
They're blowing blokes out there.
Blowing blokes.
Jeez.
It's either super dry, people are sucking dirt, or it's muddy.
Dang.
I haven't been there ever, and it's been great.
Yeah, that is true. Speaking of blowing blokes, Paul Alley says Mason Simmons went 17 for 18th overall.
Oh, shit.
Is it 17 for 18th? I thought it was 18-16 for 17th.
I thought someone said 17th. And
I thought he got 17th overall.
I didn't actually look on the website, so that guy's probably right.
Maybe. Living rent-free in your head shirt from Stu. Point me in the right direction. I'm trying to understand. The point of that shirt, which is what kind of saw the humor in it. Stu came on here and made some bold claims, as everybody knows. You know what I mean? It got shared around. People were talking about it. Somehow we got lumped in with it. We're just providing the platform. But basically what he was saying is that by him making those claims of being the best rounded rider, I can't talk tonight, in America, that it's getting people talking about him. You know what I mean? So people are sharing that around. People are talking about it. People are refuting it. People are throwing their hats in the game as well. So living rent free in your head shirt was just, I think that's who Stu is. He puts himself out there. He says those things. He says things with confidence, and I think that's just all part of it. I think it's part of his mental game of people. I don't know. You have to ask him. You know what I mean? I can
Yep.
only explain it best I can. Kevin Campbell retracted his message. What was that about? 2 of them. Dang, dude. What are you saying on here? You know what I mean?
He said it was at the bottom,
ISDE
didn't he?
prep possibly for Dante. Maybe that's the reason why Dante missed, says Paul Alley. I don't know. I thought he raced AMA West. Maybe he doesn't race AMA West. Was there a Works or a Hare and Hound? There couldn't have been a Hare and
There
Hound.
couldn't have been, there couldn't have been a works race because Mason would have been there.
Yeah. Couldn't have been
I don't know where
NGPC
Dante
because
was.
Mason would have been there. Couldn't have been a Hare and Hound because it's the same promoter as AMA West.
I don't know.
I don't know where Dante was. Maybe he just doesn't race those. Maybe 2 series is enough. He don't want to race the West Hare Scrambles.
Honeydews, brother. Maybe he's at the house.
Thorne is in the Sipes and Toth categories. I would put him in there. Thorne is pretty well rounded. He does a lot of things. Kevin Campbell, who's your favorite Vet C rider? He
It
said,
wasn't
"Better
the
be
guy
me."
2 rows ahead of me.
I mean, I will say, good buddies with Logan Densmore, the off-road racing manager for AMA.
You're at Zay.
What?
You don't have SC.
I'm getting there. Technically, I could go back and race C class, and that would put me in the Vet C category.
Yeah, so a little bit of self-love.
So as of right now, Tyler Shepardson might be my favorite Vet C rider.
Yeah, Kevin's up there, though.
Kevin's up there.
He's a buddy.
He's on the short list.
Easy. You don't know how tall he is. Leave him alone. We can talk about Trevor Barrett.
I guess right now I can claim I'm my favorite Vet C and Vet B rider because that is the one I won a Mid-East, I won a Mid-East C class championship. Never won a GNCC because people were sandbagging harder than I was. I never touched dirt bike till I was 21 years old. All right, let's start there.
Yeah.
But then
it was the yellow moose gear. I'll tell you that right now. You would have worn normal, look like a damn pissed off yellow jacket
going
running
back
around,
to my damn yellow moose gear.
running straight into the side of a GNCC official. He wasn't even in the way, dude.
Yes, he was. He parked in the middle of the track.
No, you can't park there.
Speaking of, if Moose, you're listening, I would gladly wear some more yellow moose gear. Still looking for gear for us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I destroyed my helmet this weekend, so if Arai wants to send me one or possibly Bell.
Liat did reach out to me.
Liat?
Yeah. I need to get back to them.
Homies.
We're searching for we need a pipe sponsor. Talk to a couple pipe companies. It's on the pipe. What kind of pipe? Insert name of your pipe here. You know what I mean? Good branding. We need helmets. We need boots. We need gear. You know what I mean?
Maybe some Scott lenses if you want to hook a buddy up. I destroyed some this weekend. No tear offs with the National Enduros. I did though. I went against 100% the rules. I did just put laminates on my goggles, and then I just cut the things off of them. In between tests, I'd sit there and peel them back and throw them in my camel pack.
You dirty dog.
Fuck them. Sorry. 0 laminates from myself were seen on the forest floor. So
there we go. Look at you doing your part. Only you can prevent tear-off fires. But yeah, anyway, long story long. When I moved up from C class, I raced 25 plus AB specifically so I couldn't be promoted out of B class. So then when I turned 30, I could still race Vet B. But now I've been out for 4 years, broke my leg twice, and I guess I could go back to race C class. But now it's kind of at the point where it's like I would kind of be embarrassed to race C class. But it's been so long since I raced, I probably couldn't even win C class. So that's where we stand. I like to ride for fun. I think I'm just over trying to ride as fast as I can.
Tyler Palmer said, "Hey, Jack Legs, Mesa went 18-18 for 17." Rude. That's my pilot, though. I can't say much to him.
All right. So shout out Skinny and shout out Paul Alley because I guess Alley wait, no. Paul was wrong. Paul said 17-17 for 18. Tyler Palmer says 18-18 for 17. Who's telling the truth?
I don't know, but MH said, "Insert name of your pipe here, LOL."
Shout out Mindy. I guess since she's commenting on
I
here.
can't see. I'm sitting there using my phone to
to
zoom in so I can read the comments so my face ain't in the shot.
You just pull that computer closer to you.
No, I'm scared.
So I guess Reba is okay if Mindy's hanging out with us.
Shout out.
Bodie Kemp says, "Hey, T-Shep, tell Craig he is lucky I don't race the little raccoon and steal his hometown hero fame like I did in 2019.
Yeah, Bodie, you better lose about 15 pounds before you ride this train, bud.
Oh.
You better do it with your spray-painted yellow front number plate. You don't want it.
Craig gets a new truck, couple new eyes, and loses a couple pounds, and all of a sudden you got some stuff to say, huh?
Yeah, little raccoon, that's me. I'm in. I got 4th last year, so if I can get 4th or better, I'm still winning.
I'm sure you'll be
'Cause
out
Eric
there
Geese is
blowing
gonna
blokes
shit
with the
on me
best
again.
of them. Eric Geese like the bird. He's pretty quick. Saw he won Open A this weekend, right?
Yeah. 10 minutes, he smoked me by.
OTP correspondent. 10 minutes, bro.
Yeah. It was like, it was,
Pull it up.
I forget what my thing is, but he beat me by 10 minutes.
Pull
Might
it
have been
up.
like 9. Smoked my ass.
Geese like the bird.
Yeah. Take off the slug you selected.
Dang, he beat Josh Toth.
Holy shit.
Let's take that one out. Eric Geese. Taking
So
the win
125,
on a
39.
Yamaha. What else would he be on? You know what I mean? That's why he didn't win, because you weren't on a blue crew tuned machine.
Then why don't you get me one?
I'll see what I can do.
9 minutes he got me by.
See what I can do. Hey, you beat Russ.
Yeah. Shit on him.
Thanks for bringing me, bud. Hope you like the back of my jersey. Is that what you said to him?
No, so I was coming into the 5th test, like in between 4 and 5 on transfer, and then 5 and 6 was kind of sitting there. Like the entrance for 5 and 6 was at the same spot, kind of. So Mike Anderson was sitting there, and we were looking at times, and Russ was in front of me. So I had to kind of push on the last 2 tests, and I guess Russ ate shit, he said.
Uh-oh.
So got his ass.
Got him.
Adam Hollenkamp shit on me. Thanks, bud.
Um,
But see, look at that. If I would have went just a little bit faster, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds each test, I'd been not 9th.
well, if the nans were pots and pans, the world would be a kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. But she don't, so
maybe
she
not.
ain't.
It depends on what she identified as these days.
Yeah, I don't.
They get to choose. Why did we go down this road? Anyway, let's talk about some other things. One, last week we watched you sign up for National Enduro in 2028, and this week we saw you put in an order right before the show started, as the show started on RockyMountainATVMC.com. When you did that, you went to the OTP bio, you clicked the link, and you ordered through there, and you helped support the show. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Everyone at home can do that as well. In the
Didn't cost
description,
me anything. It was all I had to do was go to the description, hit the link.
it actually said you saved like $66 or something.
It did. I don't know really the ins and outs of that, but it didn't cost me anything to support the show, so it worked out great.
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
Yep.
You can support the show as well. You're shopping on Rocky Mountain. You're ordering parts. I'm buying parts. I use my own link because I have a different account for the podcast than I do for me, so I use my own link to do it as well. But, yeah, just a small percentage of whatever your total purchase amount is goes back to OTP, helps us get battery chargers for cameras, helps us get to the races, helps us get cameras to film the races, you know what I mean? So it doesn't cost you anything. Just instead of typing it into your web browser, go to the description of any of our YouTube videos. It's right in there, or the description on our Instagram page. You can click it and shop as normal, and help support the show, and it means a lot, so appreciate that.
Speaking of that, how was the RV this weekend? First
good.
trip in the RV. Were you a big fan? Bed full of pups?
Yeah, so I will say that having 2 dogs, 1 RV, while you're working all weekend is a little bit stressful because I had to check on them between races. I don't think they like being cooped up. Definitely didn't know what was going on at first. But no, it was pretty cool, man. It was nice to be able to stand up, walk around. I brought my Xbox, played some Xbox on Starlink. Used a lot more gas. It's way more expensive to drive an RV than a Tesla. Go figure.
Fair enough.
But it was pretty good.
Would if you had Reba out and sat beside you whenever you're doing announcing or whatever, do you think she'd just hang out by your feet if you told her sit? I don't know.
Yeah. So
Pretty good
Reba's really good. Even off leash running around back in our staff area and doing all that stuff. She's fine around dirt bikes. I know Mindy's listening, so sorry about this. Henry
Sweet angel
is a wanderer, and he does not like to listen.
Yeah, I've been told the same about myself.
And he peed on every single thing that was in that parking lot.
I've also
at some
been
point.
a repeat offender of something. So if you remember that Panthers tailgate?
We're not going to talk about all this. Oh, I thought you were going to bring up snowshoe.
I don't remember that. I remember the Panthers tailgate in 2018.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you do. Oh no, you might not.
But no, it was cool. Henry is a sweet angel. I love him. We have a pug and a golden doodle, and yeah, they were along for the ride this
Sweet
weekend.
babies.
But no, it was pretty cool. A little small, but I think without 2 dogs, perfect.
Yeah.
And even if Mindy was there and tended to the dogs,
Yeah.
so they're not so amped up. I think
Yeah.
that would also be good.
Yeah,
But
some might say it's the perfect size, though. You know?
yeah, it is. It's all about how you drive it, really.
Yeah.
But that thing, it was like the slightest incline, dude. That thing downshifts 4 gears and revs up to 6,000 RPM.
Yeah.
But other than that, and so I had to run the generator. I finally got the generator fixed, and then luckily it ran for 72 hours straight, which is good.
Yeah, because you're running it off your fuel tank.
Yeah, used over half a
You
tank of
ain't
fuel.
got much of a choice, but you ran it off a 15 gallons of fuel out of the damn RV.
Yeah. So, listen, the Tesla is really good for camping,
But it's for sale.
maybe. But
It could be bought.
running the electric, running the heat, got twin size bed in it, got the screen up there with Netflix, all that.
Yeah.
It's good. And like I get to Ohio and back for $60. I spent more than $60 just running the generator this past weekend. So I just gotta get used to that. You know what I mean? And that is why you shopping with our link at Rocky Mountain ATVMC can help.
Yeah. Hook us right up.
But yeah, I think we got all of our sponsors out of the way. One thing that we did want to talk about, Craig, you last week brought up something I hadn't even thought about. And that was, what if Grant Davis wraps up the XC2 title early? Does he move up to XC1? Does he stay in XC2 and play with that minute and continue to get more overall wins and build to that legacy from the second row?
Yeah.
Right now, Grant Davis is 1 point away from the overall lead. Only 1 point separates him and Ben Kelly. Reached out to Grant because I wanted to ask him about it. And he said that he is chomping at the bit to get XC1. And so I think if he does wrap up the title early, he's going to move up. Now, the interesting part of this, and the thing that I am curious about, and trying to make some phone calls to get clarification on this. Yeah. We've talked about it in the past about the difference between the overall championship and the XC1 championship. The way that the points are read right now, there is no overall championship. There's an XC1 championship that is based off of overall class points. Or excuse me, overall points for the XC1 class. XC2 is based off of XC2 points and not the overall. Reading through the results, and I called you about this the other day.
Yeah.
Or reading through the rules, rather. Read through it probably 8, 9, 10 times. And there, in all the amateur classes, it says you have to race a minimum of 9 races to be considered for year-end rewards. Everywhere in the pro rules, there is not one rule about minimum number of XC1 races that you have to race. But it does say that the XC1 points, or the XC1 championship, will be decided off of overall points. Therefore, the way that the rules read right now, the way that I interpret it, and like it's in black and white, if Grant Davis was to win the XC2 title early and keep remaining in the overall points discussion like he is right now, 1 point behind, and he moves up to the XC1 class after wrapping up the XC2 title, he is then classified an XC1 rider. There is no minimum requirement of XC1 races to qualify for year-end points. Therefore, the way that the rule book is written in black and white, if Grant Davis wraps up XC2, moves to XC1, becomes an XC1 rider, an XC1 championship is based off of overall class points, or overall points, and Grant Davis has the overall point lead, he would be your XC2 and XC1 champion.
Man, there's going to be some pissed off sons of bitches running around this place.
Could you imagine the XC1 row?
Mad as
They're
hell.
already dealing with someone getting in their overall every week. But could you imagine if no one on the XC row has a championship and Grant Davis moves to the XC1 class for his first full season with the number 1 plate in his rookie season?
So you talked to Grant a little bit, correct? Like not much. But what about Tim? Like, have you thought about talking to Tim Cotter? Like, what are you thinking about?
And that is why
pursuing next?
That's why I wanted to talk to Grant first.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, man, I don't know how much you listen to the show, but one of the things that we talk about is that there is no overall championship. Have you asked them about that? He's like, no, I haven't even thought about it. I was like, might want to ask him that. But then I was like, this is what I found out. And I explained it to him that XC1 championship is based off of overall points. If you become an XC1 rider and you have the overall points, you're the XC1 and XC2 champion. How you feel about that? And then I straight up asked him, I was like, dude, so I was going to call MX Sports, Tim Carter, Kerry Russell, whoever would handle that, and ask them for a clarification. But the one thing that I don't want to do is for them to realize that at this point in the season and rules get changed, rules get moved, things get rewritten, and now all of a sudden that doesn't happen. So it's like the way that the rules are written right now, that is the only way. Like if Grant had the most overall points and he raced an XC1 race, he would be the XC1 champion.
Yeah.
So it's like part of me wants to know of how we're going to proceed. I know we're kind of putting the cart before the horse, but we're more than halfway through the season and he's 1 point down. It's not out of the realm of possibility. In fact, it's like looking more and more possible. He just won in perfect hero conditions, physically took the win. And that's only Grant is a dude that feeds off of confidence, dude. The moment he gets some confidence going, there's no backing that kid down.
Yeah.
And now that he got the physical lead in perfect conditions, we can't say it was muddy in the 250s or lighter. It was a fast track. It was good conditions. He physically won the overall. So it's like part of me wants to get clarification and an understanding of what would happen in that scenario, but I also don't want to like cause up a ruckus.
Yeah.
And
which I feel like after
change it.
this and after the last, well, I guess this is the first time we were discussing this on the show, but like our conversations last week, you'd think someone would mention something to MX Sports and like someone's probably listened to us talk about it and mentioned it.
Yeah.
I would just assume that Tim Carter's heard something by now because this is kind of an important thing.
Yeah. And this all changed 2 years ago when they changed the payouts because there used to be an XC1 payout and an XC2 payout. Now there's top 15 payout, and it's based off of that. But when that change happened is when the rule changed that says that there was an overall championship and an XC1 championship. You had your class XC1 points and you had your overall points. And that's also when that changed to where now there is nothing in the rule book about an overall champion, just that XC1 champion is based off of overall results. So think about when that happened, dude. That was before the 22 season where we hadn't seen an XC2 rider win an overall or really get that close ever. Mm-hmm. And that was also a time where Josh Toth hadn't been back to the XC2 class, where Thad Duvall hadn't gone back to the XC2 class. And that was also the year that Grant Davis didn't get his first XC2 podium until Ironman. And then he came out the next year and lit the world on fire, won the championship, and now this year picked up right where he left off.
Yeah.
So it's like when that was changed and that wording was made and that the XC1 championship was based off of overall points, I don't think it was in anyone's realm of possibility that we could be in this situation where one kid has won 3 overall races from the second row, and there's been 5 instances where the overall was won from the second row, 2 of them being physically in the overall lead.
Yeah. So I guess
but like you look
hurry
at
up
the
and
year,
wait. What do you think?
like when Ben Kelly moved up after winning the XC2 title, he retained his overall points. And same thing like Gus Reardon and like all these XC2 dudes that have been in the overall points, they retain their overall points no matter what class they race. Even a guy like Jonathan Johnson, who goes from XC2 to XC1 to XC2 to XC3, his overall points still accumulate. Mm-hmm. And so when Grant, if Grant was to win the championship, move up to XC1, he would retain all of his overall points because he earned those. But then he would also be declared an XC1 rider where it falls into that XC1 championship being based off of overall points.
Yeah. I think overall points are bullshit.
Like, I don't even think West Coast scores overall points.
So, I guess it's kind of like a shitty thing to say it like that. Like, I think it's great. I think, right now, Grant Davis should be in the position he's in. Obviously, he's been overall in races from the second row. But just like how there's XC1 points and overall points.
Yeah.
And how Stu didn't win the championship because, and this isn't me dick riding Stu, it's just in the mindset of why did he win XC1 points but overall points got him. Like, I don't think that should be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know we talked about how overall, like, I think, and I was just talking to somebody on the phone about this the other day. Wasn't you? I think overall points are good when it comes to amateurs, like bumping. And I swear I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and they're going to text me and say, "Hey, Jack Wagon, it was me." I think it's kind of goofy how that kind of works. Like, I see how it's good,
I don't
but
think
not
it's
for the top 15, especially when they're 95%.
I don't think it's
Pro.
goofy. I think it is important. I think that it should be 2 separate championships. There should be an XC1, XC2, XC3 championship and an overall championship. Because, I mean, look at Mid-East, where the year before last, Rivers Magic Creek Morris was our overall champion from the B-class row.
Yeah.
And he did it by riding consistently in the top 10.
Yeah.
And some of the pro guys missed some races for other races or whatever. And at the end of the year, Rivers had the most overall points. I think there is an important segment to having those overall points, but I think it's dumb to base an XC1 championship off of overall points because XC1 is a class.
Yeah.
So why would you make one class based off of overall points and not the other pro class based off of overall points? And the reason I say that, and I know I've said it on here a million times, is because it drives me absolutely nuts. So if you're hearing this again, you're probably going to roll your eyes. But the year that Craig DeLong won the overall championship, Stu Baylor had the most XC1 points. And then, but Craig was the champion,
Yeah.
and Stu got nothing. But then in the very next row, the XC2 pro class, not a pro-am, 2 pro classes, the XC2 class, Liam Draper had more class points and Gus Reardon had more overall points. So in back-to-back pro classes, you use the same rules in inverted ways, and I think it screwed over everyone and it caused a lot of confusion because XC1, the overall points leader got the championship and the class points leader didn't. But then in XC2, the class leader got the championship and the overall points leader didn't.
Yeah.
So it's like you got 2 pro classes being based off of 2 completely different things, and I think that makes it all look silly because Gus got nothing for finishing higher than Liam in the overall, and Stu got nothing for finishing higher in the class than Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, I don't know.
And now in this
I don't like it.
situation, I don't know what the hell the answer is because there's no other way to interpret that in the rules other than that Grant Davis would be the XC1 and XC2 champion because they are the ones that changed the rules that said XC1 will be based off of overall points. And there's not a minimum. It doesn't say you have to race 9 races in XC1 class to be considered for year-end points.
Yeah. So I like how this is going for Grant. I think it's sick. I don't like what we were just talking about, the confusion on how that works. Like just diving into it and like Stu winning XC1 points and not getting the overall, so he really didn't get anything.
Yeah.
I don't like how, like, I feel like it needs to be more simple.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's like now I feel like in this situation, if this was to happen, what do you do if you're MX Sports? Because you can't just say, well, because there's not a specific thing written in the pro rule book that you have to race 9 amount of races, we're going to refer to the AMA and our amateur rule book that says you have to race 9 out of 13 races in that class. Because then, even weirder, Grant would get absolutely nothing for being the overall points leader. He wouldn't get anything because there's not an overall championship. But if you say that he doesn't qualify for XC1 points because he only raced 1 or 2 XC1 races, then you're putting him completely out in the cold.
Yeah.
And then, like, even from Auntie's perspective, and Timmy, the KTM team manager and the KTM group, whatever Auntie is.
Off-road manager.
Yeah. Director, whatever.
Director of off-road,
From their perspective,
they win either way.
It doesn't seem like it matters to them either way because, like, you get into a situation where, like, maybe one of your riders is fighting for a championship and maybe another one of your riders is about to win a race and maybe you tell them not to win the race so the other person can get the points. Hypothetical, of course. That will never happen. But that is for a reason because you're in a points battle with somebody else. In this situation, right now, presumably at the end of the year, it's going to be between Ben Kelly and Grant Davis. Either way, KTM's not going to have a number 1 plate in XC2 unless Gus wins it. So if Grant wins it, he's got to move up no matter what because he won it last year and he won it this year. He's going to have to move to XC1. Kind of the same thing. Like if they are going to give him the XC1 championship, then even with Grant moving up, he would have the number 1 plate as the XC1 champion. So KTM still has a number 1 plate out on the front row, whether it's Ben or whether it's Grant.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder what side of this argument they're going to be on because it directly involves 2 of their factory riders.
Yeah.
And kind of what their perspective would be if it does come down to that.
Let's call Auntie.
And we're still 6 races away from it coming down to that.
It's only 6:30 in California.
But it's trending that way. I wonder what would happen if Auntie saw me calling him.
I'll call him. You want to answer?
I'd love to have him on the show. I don't know if he'd do it, but I'd love to have him on. Open invite. I don't know if I've ever cleared this up, but there's been a lot of things that come up. I know for a fact that I am not his favorite person in the world. He's never told me that.
Yeah.
Ironically, but I do have a lot of respect for him. What he has done for the USA ISE team has been remarkable. What he has done for the KTM group has been remarkable. And, I mean, I've said it, I don't know if I've even said this on air, but I've said it off air a ton of times, is that if any of us were in that position that he is in, we would do the same things.
Yeah. He was a great boss to me, honestly. Like, he never rubbed me wrong. Like, I wasn't the best employee. That's a fact. But he was super good to me.
No, it puts me in a weird spot being the media guy and having to talk about this stuff and just throwing it out there. Like, I don't make things up. I don't give too much of an opinion. I kind of just say what happens. Some of that stuff doesn't always want to be in the limelight by people at that be. But it's not to say, like I said, I respect him. He's done a lot of good things. And I think that's the most humanizing part of it is that if you or I or anybody listening to this was the team manager for the Riehu team. And
the what?
Riehu.
Say it again.
Riehu.
Rejufro?
I'm just throwing it out. Just the most random team, whether it's KTM, whether it's Yamaha, whether it's Beta, whatever it is, all of us are going to look out for our team. That's just human nature. And so it's like not anything that I said isn't really necessarily like faulting him for anything because I think all of us would make those same decisions. Like if your main rider was in a points battle with someone else and you have another rider that's going to take points from him, like I would kind of encourage that rider to put the team first in that situation too.
Or if you're a truck driver and newly appointed truck driver and you are a tech wizard and you can tap into other teams' walkie-talkies like someone close to the show, do it. Do it for the team.
Yeah. You
Craig?
got to.
I had
to.
It's my civil duty.
Listen to everything they're saying, report back.
Yeah.
But no, that's the biggest thing. It's like I don't want that to be misconstrued because, dude, I love like talking to Grant. Like I'm a big fan of Ben Kelly. I think I've said nothing negative about Ben Kelly on the show. Johnny Gerard, one of my favorite people in the pits. Eric Srotten, love him. Timmy Wagon, KTM team manager, was over at the Oz Ranch shooting guns with his kids with us one day.
Yeah.
I think there's this weird line that got drawn just because of the things that happened and teams that it affected, and I think it's kind of I've taken the brunt of it. But it's not like that at all. Like I don't have any ill will towards anyone, and like the things that I report on are just simply that, just reporting. But yeah, I got a ton of respect for him. Was the only sentiment I was trying to get across there.
Yeah, something about
how
the
this whole thing
off-road
started,
world, like
so
even all the riders. Like I think some people who aren't as involved, you know, like I've had some friends ask me like how some riders are, because some guys who like growing up in Southern Ohio, if you didn't know anybody, like we weren't in the scene. Corey Buttrick was one of the riders that came out of there at the time. Tristan Landrum was super fast. Obviously JoJo came out of there. There's a bunch of guys that were good. KR came from Chillicothe area.
Yeah.
Charlie Mullins came from Hamilton, I think. There's always like a discrepancy on like pro riders being some certain way, and now like you hear this, that, and the other about moto guys because we're all kind of unplugged from the moto scene. Nothing but good things. Like I can walk up and down pro row, and every single rider 9 times out of 10 is like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Like just buddies.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of them outside of the races. I seen BK this weekend sitting there shooting the shit with him. He gave me a stinking inline fuel filter.
Yeah.
Because my bike was sitting there acting kind of funky. I said, "Do you have an extra?" He's like, "Yeah, I got 3 here."
Yeah.
Take one." Buddy, you know.
And I mean that's the same thing too. Like if even like some riders kind of get mad at other riders or get mad at the way they ride, but at the end of the day, I think anyone, like if we're at a NASCAR race in somewhere and you see one of the GNCC guys or like one of the pro riders see you or they see each other, like it's an immediate connection. Like I think that kind of what brings it in focus is like when you see dudes from this sport. Obviously, we all see each other every weekend, but when you see them outside of something race related, your team, you know what I mean? Like everyone's on the same team.
I like to mention that too because like obviously I worked for KTM for a brief moment. Everyone I met was super good to me.
Big
like most of them, most everybody I met, most mechanics, everybody was cool. But since helping you doing some Tuesday reviews, like I've had a lot of people see me at the races, come up, talk to me, even at the Enduro this weekend. Uari Welding, I don't even think he told me his actual first name. He just introduced me as his Instagram because he followed me. I followed him back. Was looking at some of his stuff. It was super sick.
Yeah.
Came up to me.
Huck's dad. That's all you really need.
Huck's
to know.
dad.
Huck's dad.
Came over and introduced himself to me. We bullshitted for a little bit, but I get a lot of guys that come up to me, and that's why the side of my bike says Big Rig Craig. I've since changed the back of my jersey and just put my last name on it. I think Dad thought I was ashamed of it. He said, "Why you keep putting that on the back of your jersey? That ain't your last name." I was like, "Get off me, dude! Talking crap." But I really appreciate everybody who comes up to me and talks to me. Nothing special. But just helping with the show and this, that, and the other. It's been pretty beneficial just making connections and friends helping out. So I know I appreciate it whenever I come out to a race and someone comes up and talks and just asks me this, that, and the other. I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking time out to do it. And, I mean, that's one of the things that keeps me going, dude, is I'm very mental. I'm very hard on myself. I've always been that way. It's kind of what fueled me in like my wrestling career and MMA career and all that kind of stuff. And it's easy for me to get down on myself and kind of crawl into a hole. And I forget, it was a race this year, man. I didn't get out of my car until 3 o'clock on Saturday just because I thought the world hated me. Everyone was mad at me. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. Like, drove all the way to the race and sat in my car till 3 o'clock by myself.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid to get out and walk around because it's kind of the same thing. Like, whenever something negative comes up, it's got to be discussed. Like, we do a weekly show about the sport. And so when things come up, whether it's good, bad, and different, like Brody beating Caleb this past weekend, I was, like, nervous to talk about that because, like, I don't want Caleb to think that there's any slight on him that Brody beat him. But it's not that. It's just what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When Stu gets Doc going into the final round in a battle for a championship with Ben Kelly, that's what happened.
Yeah.
We got to talk. We talk about racing on a weekly basis. Yeah. And so it's like things bother me a lot.
I had to play Alan Jackson in the semi that whole weekend so people wouldn't try to come jump me in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'd set the semi up. I was there on Wednesday.
It's all right to be
No, I was playing a little bit of Chattahoochee,
No.
and I was out there just kind of getting after it a little bit because I was like, I got to get these rednecks back on our side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That other side will drive a crowd. But no, I mean, that's the thing is, like, dude, I take stuff way too much to heart, especially to be in this position that I'm in. So I don't want anything to say come across as, like, being misconstrued because it's just, you got to talk about it.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with this or what sparked it.
I don't know, but I remember being real young on a YZ85, and that's what I was talking about, wanting to buy that Yamaha box truck off Matt McCormick.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, dreaming to come home because I was on a YZ85, and I just was not great. I was, like, 9 years old and 5'12". I was huge, fat and huge at, like, 9 years old. And I remember, like, just dreaming of coming home to, like, an Ampro Yamaha box truck because I just went to my first GNCC when I was 9 and watched at John Penton. And I just dreamed of a box truck, a Ampro sitting there with two YZ85 sitting in the back of it.
Yeah.
And the closest thing, well, I mean, obviously I had the KTM job, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And wanting a reason to go to the races and wanting a reason to be, I guess, kind of relevant. That's what everyone wants. They want, to kind of be in and talk to this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So even just since doing this and helping, just being friends the last couple of years, we go on the pipe shirts. People come up, talk to us. It's been a great way to just stay connected to everything.
Yeah.
And just make friends here and there. I'll go to, just like us talking about going to like a Tour GP or us talking about going to a J Day. I get people that message me and like, hey, when are you going to come? When are you going to do this?
Yeah.
Would love to do it. Trying to make it happen.
Yeah. Same.
We get some time this summer, I got some stuff in the house, trying to finish up a house and this, that, and the other. But I love going out and meeting new people. Like, if I'm anything, I'm social. Yeah. Social butterfly. I just like talking. I have so many friends. I like networking. It's just what I like to do. So going to all these different races. I'll go up to Kentucky and race at KXCR if they still have it. I don't care. I'd like to go run. So I know some boys from the Tennessee area, like Justin Leonard, Dalton Riddle, Clint.
RJ Cook,
but Clint. I feel like a piece of shit.
Shields?
No.
Oh. Shout out Clint Shields.
Clint Watson. Just some boys from Tennessee that I've talked to a lot over the years, and I'd like to go run. Is it a South.
Something like that.
Hare Scramble. I just think different series. I'd like to run the Tri-State. Like to go down to Southern Routes. Like to go. I'd always have somebody text me asking me if I would like to go race this weekend, and it's usually a different kind of series. I'm like, shit, dude, I'd love to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the stuff I like to do, and doing this kind of gives us a reason to do it. So.
And I wish I could branch off more, but like obviously this is what I'm doing for a living. So like Mid-East, I got to announce Mid-East not only because I like them, like the series, and think it's one of the premier series in the country, but it's also like a paycheck. And then outside of that, I cover the GNCCs because that's where all the pros are at one time. And between those two, it takes up pretty much every weekend of the year. So as much as I want to go do all that other stuff, it's kind of limited with my schedule. But back to my original point, the whole reason I went on the whole emo spree right there was because those days that I sit in my car and think the whole world hates me and don't get out at a race and whatever till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like the people that come up, kind of like you said, like, oh, hey, man, love the show. Like this past weekend at Mid-East, man, I had probably 6-7 people I didn't even realize. And like a guy was there wearing one of my shirts that I didn't recognize him. So it's like it's somebody that ordered a shirt that I sent a shirt to, and like I never met him. So it's like seeing people wearing my stuff, and then like all the random people, like someone come up to me in the woods like, hey man, love your videos, or hey, love the show.
I'm suffering at Battle of the Goats, and like me and 2 guys are helping push each other's bike up. Hey man, I like that show you guys did last week. I'm like, fuck, shut up, dude. Help me get my bike up. Like, but just people in the woods that recognized me, just my gear on. Like I wasn't even on an OT. Like my bike had on a stock 2015 KTM. They just noticed my gear. I'm like, hey man, love the show. And I'm like, they're like, what are you doing out here? I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out too. So, just good people.
But yeah, so that was the main thing I wanted to get across is like those people saying those things and saying those nice things, and like the people that listen, that's the stuff that keeps me going, dude. When I'm ready to put OTP up for sale and never see a dirt bike again in the rest of my life, like I go to a race and I get 10 new people coming up saying they love the show. And so it really does mean a lot. And then that's one of the things I try to carry through is this industry is so small. And I think the reason OTP works is because of the relationships I have with the riders, with the people in the industry, to kind of get the behind-the-scenes knowledge and give it to the people that can't call Stu on the phone. They can't go stop by the beta team and hang out with Josh or have Josh like it. The 5% of people that this show is about, I think, affects my mentality when 95% of the people enjoy what we're doing, I guess is what I'm getting at. And it's like the Auntie thing. Like, dude, it bugs the shit out of me that Auntie probably hates my guts. And it's like I got nothing but respect for him. Or like same thing, like we talked about a rider that is still mad at me to this day because I predicted somebody else to win the championship. So it's like that stuff bothers me on like a deep level. And I feel weird saying this on the show, but it's just the honest thoughts of it. Like, man, I don't know. That stuff
Oh, everyone's always got to be a bad guy somehow. But I mean, as long as you like all the good, which I haven't had a whole lot of negative, I guess, just meeting people over the years. I've been pretty happy with how everything's went, but all the positives always outweigh the negatives in my experience. So fuck them.
Yeah. So hope I didn't go on too big of a emo rant there, but it's something that bothers me because, like I said, it's a small industry, and so I let the way that weigh on me too much when there's such a big community of people that like the show and like to hear the ins and outs, because doing it on a weekly basis and talking about what's going on in off-road racing, like everyone that is at these races every weekend invests a lot of money into it, invests a lot of time into it, and so it's cool to kind of provide the platform to get that information and kind of bench race through the week to make it through the week to get to the next race weekend. So thank you guys for supporting, and thank you guys for listening. And I'm an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
I'd rather stand up on stage and talk to 10,000 people than have a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, I absolutely could not do that. You should have seen me selling insurance. I sucked ass, dude.
Yeah.
I get into a room full of 80 people that one-on-one I could say whatever I wanted to, and I'd be like, Aflac, fuck.
Yeah.
Not good.
I overthink everything and I take things to heart. So, weird position to be doing a weekly podcast about an entire sport. Like the whole who's the best, most well-rounded rider conversation.
Where's that at?
And people get mad at me for it.
Where's the races at this
Spoiler
weekend?
alert, it's not me.
Where's the races at this weekend?
This weekend is the Mason Dixon GNCC.
What else we got? What else is going on?
No clue.
I'm not going there. I need to ride somewhere.
I can pull up my schedule and see.
We got
Why aren't you going to Mason Dixon? Why don't you come up there and film something? We'll get a second shooter. What else
I
you got
something
to
to
do?
do this weekend.
You want me to go to Ohio to go to Vintage Days, but you can't come?
Brother, don't start playing
Can't come
with
hang
me.
out at a GNCC?
Don't start playing with me, dude. I got to hang out at the house until my parents get home on Sunday, though, actually. My
This
grandma's there.
weekend. Wait, is this weekend the. No, it's the Mason Dixon.
I think so. The Steve McSwain Nationals, Full Gas is racing in Birch Creek. I think that sounds right. I might be incorrect. So Full Gas is racing on Saturday. I think next weekend is in North Carolina. The same weekend I'll be at Missouri for the National Enduro. So they're going to be racing the Grover race that got canceled last weekend or 2 weekends ago for the rain.
Dude, Snowshoe is 4 weeks away.
I don't think I'm.
How's that possible?
I don't think I am golfing. So that's excellent.
I'm trying to play golf. I just haven't put any effort into it yet at all. Last year I played with the Scott guys. Played with Lane Michael and
I wonder if I call Buddy Mito.
Triple J, but now Triple J is not a Scott guy.
Then you call Mito P. Get him down here. Pereira.
Yeah.
The guy, the golfer I met when I was in Chile.
Yeah.
We'd win.
Yeah.
We'd freaking win, dude.
He'd help, that's for
He'd
sure.
help. Play best ball. I mean, I could probably clean up sometimes.
I just went blank. I don't know why I can't remember who was the fourth person in our group. It was me, Lane, Triple J.
Who we got here?
I don't know why.
I just
can't
realized that
remember
I
who
could
was
zoom in. Southern Roots has rounds coming up at Carolina Adventure World and Masters.
Well, that doesn't say anything for this weekend. You just named 2 different races. We're talking about next weekend. I don't know what else is racing. I don't know what West Coast stuff is going on. I know that round 2 of Promoto will be there. Mason Simmons will be racing.
Meso.
What
So
else
I
you
reckon. So I reckon if you're local, Full Gas. If you want to go race the Nationals, head up to the GNCC and spend $100 to get in the gate with you and your 3.
What are you talking about?
Spending $100 for 3 people to get into it. It's more than that. Shit, it's $40 to get in, ain't it? At
Where?
GNCC?
GNCC? I don't know.
Oh,
Depends
you don't
on
know,
what day
huh?
you show up.
Oh, you don't know. You just beep.
Shout out. Appreciate them. I'm there to promote what they're doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that about covers it. I think we got everything covered. Anything else that you can think of? Any other storylines we missed? Hell of a weekend by the Rocky Mountain Red Bear race team. I know that I talked about it, but like I don't want that to be forgotten. Like, not even like all biases aside, like to sweep the overall, win Pro 2, win Women's Pro. That's a pretty crazy weekend. Can't do much better than that. I don't think you can do better than that unless you can have a 3-way tie for first in Pro 1.
I don't think they had any other amateur riders. I think every rider who was there was like the top 3. Obviously, Josh, Stu, and Grant were the top 3 in Pro 1. Pro 2, I think the only Kawasaki rider on the Rocky Mountain Red Bear team was Nicholas DeFeo. I think the only Cowie guy is either Hunter Bush but I don't think...
Steven Piper.
Is Steven Piper on there?
Yeah, he got 5th in Pro 2. But Collier Martinez was racing Mid-East.
Dude, did you see the video of him yet?
Brooke Cosner.
The video of Collier Martinez?
Doing what?
So, was there, I guess there's a hill at that race this weekend?
Yeah.
There was a B rider, I'm assuming, yellow number plates, 313, wrecked. Was like looking at the camera, like I don't know if he was needing help or what was going on. Dropped the bike, right?
Yeah.
Collier comes up this hill, like preloads, jumps, wheel taps off the dude's bike, and just keeps on trucking. And everyone's like, "Holy shit!"
I
don't know if it was Holler Boys or who posted it.
Had to have been.
But it was sick, dude. I loved it.
So Ric Flair's son
want a bitch.
races quads, and he got on that hill climb, dude. He started rolling backwards, grabbed too much rear brake, flipped over backwards, dude. Utility quad.
How old is
flips
he?
over him.
40s?
Late 50s.
Is he?
I think.
Is he cool? You talked to him?
I haven't talked to him at all. But, like, I see him come through, and you can see his nose and his eyes sticking out of his
Yeah.
helmet because he never has goggles on. And you can tell it's Ric Flair's son.
Yeah. Do you think he goes woo on a bitch or no?
Might. Every time I announce it. So I'm reading through all the names. I'm like, oh, Craig Oberholzer, Thomas Caldwell, Tyler Shepardson, David Fleur. Woo! And every single time. Because their name isn't spelled Flair. It's Fleuhr.
Fleur.
It's something like that, but it's Fleur.
Like Flair go
And
whir on a bird.
Ric Flair changed it to Flair for TV and for wrestling. So, like, I announced his name a bunch of times, and I never knew.
Yeah.
And then someone was like, you know that's Ric Flair's son, right? And I
That's
was like,
badass.
no idea.
That's sick. He ought to come out with the damn velvet robe. Freaking sick, dude. Well, he must live around Charlotte then?
I'm a utility quad riding. Woo!
Is he around Charlotte or
Skinny
no?
Ripper plane flying. Woo! I don't know. Probably somewhere, Greater Charlotte area.
Well,
And then, so now there's also, I noticed, another couple Levesques that race.
I want to see where this guy's from.
And so I put 2 and 2 together, and Triple H's name is Paul Levesque, and the WWE is based in Florida. Well, these Levesques are out of Florida. So then I even said on the starting line, I was like, hey, I know someone's got to be here with David Flair. I was like, can anyone confirm or deny, are these Levesques like Triple H, Paul Levesque's family? No one ever answered me. But it makes sense. If you got the Flairs and you got Levesque, I don't know any other Levesques besides Triple H.
Is there
We have 3-time World Series champions that come race. We got former 2-time world welterweight champion of the world UFC fighters that come to race.
how do I get to the footballers on here?
I think that old retired basketball player came to race a couple times. Go up. Go back. Back. Top. Top.
Am I done?
Yep, right
Here?
there. Go to
Oh, okay.
quads.
Quad tards. Ric Flair go woo on a bitch. Was
Fred
he-
Neal says, can you discuss why the XC2 class has an advantage for the overall starting on the second row? I think the biggest advantage that XC2 riders have starting on the second row is, one, XC1 riders are breaking trail. So the XC1 riders are seeing trail for the first time. They're having to look for the arrows. They're having to look for the danger. They're having to look for the rocks, for the roots, for all that kind of stuff. Whereas when XC2 guys get there, the trail's already beat in, and most of the time they're already seeing someone in front of them, so they can kind of pace off of that. So I think that's one part of it, is the XC1 riders are kind of breaking trail first and have to figure the track out, especially in adverse conditions like we've seen a bunch this year, figuring out what holes are deep, what holes you can go through. So that allows XC2 to ride a little bit more on edge on that first lap because they're not breaking clear trail. They're already following. Also, too, I think a big reason is the XC1 kind of rides in a pack. And up until recently where these guys have to sprint, it's been kind of that XC1 pack kind of bunches together and all kind of push, and then 2 laps to go, they turn on the speed, turn on the jets. And I think now is kind of the point where they have to sprint at the beginning because of these XC2 riders. But I think a big part of it, too, is playing with that minute time gap. The XC1 guys are all racing each other. It's simple. Are you in front of that guy? Yes, then you're beating him. Are you behind him? Yes, well, then you're losing to him. Whereas the XC1 guys only have to be within a minute. So if Grant Davis or Angus Reardon or Cody Barnes or insert XC2 guy's name here, if they can get within sight of the XC1 guys, they already know they're beating them by a minute. So I think having that minute to play with is an advantage for them because the XC1 guys can't see them, but the XC2 guys can see the XC1 guys. So I think that's a big part of it as well. And then I think probably the third most pressing reason is that before we would see XC1 guys dedicating their entire time to racing, training, nutrition, on the bike, off the bike, that kind of thing, going to training programs. But now XC2 guys are training just like XC1 guys, where I think in the past, like all those years that Caleb dominated, I don't think there was anybody, I don't want to say not anybody, for the same reason we were talking about earlier, don't want someone to get mad at me. Not very many guys were training to the level of Caleb Russell. of Thad Duvall, of Josh Strang, of all these guys. And now the XC2 guys, they have trainers, they have nutritionists, they have training programs, they have training facilities. They're all training with XC1 guys. So I think the stamina, the fitness, the intensity, all of that has been pushed on those XC2 guys just like it has been on the XC1 guys for years. I hope that answers that.
Shit, Open A guys are Open A and some 258 guys. Their jobs racing dirt bikes. A lot of them. Which a lot of them, their parents help them. A lot of them are younger.
M&D Racing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's. You got anything else to add, or are we gonna get off of here?
I'm all good.
All right, well, almost 2 hours. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for listening to us. Shop RMATVMC by using the link in our bio. Go to TussleInvestments.com. Go to DimmersPrecisionGrading.com. And as always, checks out Yamaha Blue Crew. It revs the crap out of your heart. Don't forget, next weekend is the final chance for kids to qualify for the 2025 YZ Super Finale at Motocross Des Nations. It is the Yamaha Blue Crew Invitational at Oak Hill MX in Alvord, Texas. Head over to YamahaBlueCrew.com to register. If you are on a Yamaha, you are invited. You can go out there and compete. But thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Craig, for coming over and doing the show. I know plans kind of changed around a little bit, but you made it over here. So appreciate that. And we'll see everyone next week where we can do it all over again and talk about what happens this coming weekend.
Bye.
See ya.